Hey everyone, it's Rich Big Daddy Salgado. And tonight I'm coming to you from a new studio. I happen to be fortunate enough to be dear friends with Donna Drake, who is an up and coming, actually, she's beyond up and coming. She is here to stay. She has her own show called Live It Up. And I'm a part of that show, and I'm doing the show tonight from her studio in Melville, Long Island. And our guest tonight is a friend of mine I know for quite a while, and it's funny, he has a mixed bag, I call it. And what I mean by that is he is an agent, but he's got two very, very to the point clientele. And what I mean by that is he represents head coaches in hockey, and he represents NFL players, mainly kickers. So, and he's coming to us all the way from Toronto, Canada. So all you viewers and listeners, let's say hello to my friend Gil Scott. How you doing, Gil?
I'm good, Big Daddy. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. It's we're right in the middle of hockey playoffs, and it's such an exciting time, especially with our New York Islanders down here, especially taking game one of their series. I think, I know everyone is excited, and you have a little bit of something to do with it. So, but we'll get to that a little bit further down the road.
Okay.
So, I know the story. I know your history. So let's share that with all the viewers and listeners. When did you start your agent practice, and what led you to become an agent? Why did you want to be one?
Well, I graduated from Michigan State University, got married, moved back to Toronto, and I got in the life insurance business. And I started selling insurance, and there were tax deferral schemes that were available to professional athletes in Canada that would lower their tax rates, called income averaging annuities. And I started by doing a presentation in the Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Ticats locker room on these annuities. And one thing led to another, and one guy asked me to represent him. And I had this, $1 million round table of business up here, and I had this little sports thing down here, and then it just kind of went like that. Became a sports agent, started representing players initially in the CFL, and then started transitioning some of those guys to the NFL, i.e. Took Dieter Brock out of Hamilton down to the LA Rams, where he played in the NFC Championship game as a quarterback. In his rookie year at age 34, made the all-rookie team in the NFL and lost to the great Chicago Bear team that won the Super Bowl that year in the NFC Championship game. So that was my foray into getting players into the NFL. And over the years, NFL teams have contacted me about, who's in Canada, who should we look at, Gil, who can come down here and play. And, it worked out some Canadian kickers like Steve Christie, who had a great career with the Buffalo Bills and Giants in San Diego, and Lawrence Tynes with the Giants, started in Ottawa in the CFL, and then Mike Vanderjagt with the Indianapolis Colts. So it just kind of built up over the years to taking players for either with Canadian roots or who had played in Canada down to the NFL.
Now, it's funny. I was a huge fan of Dieter Brock's.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's his helmet right behind us.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I started back in, I think it was, I want to say maybe 82 was the NFL on strike.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah. And, the ESPN started showing the Canadian football games.
Right.
And I started watching Winnipeg, and they were so good. And I was so impressed by Dieter Brock. And he just had a cool name, too. So it was like, I was like, man. And then when he went to the NFL, I was like, hey.
Yeah, that guy.
And and then, obviously I had a relationship with Lawrence Tynes, being all my time hanging around the Giants.
That's right.
So, and he was funny because he would see me and he'd be like, "Oh, Big Daddy, pizza again, huh?" I'd be like, "Yep, Umberto's is here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, Big Daddy, you never see fat kickers. I go, "Yeah, I get it." I go, "I don't take it personal if you don't eat any. I'm just the delivery guy.
Right.
I'm nothing more than the delivery guy."
Right.
But anyway, so you started in football first, and then you got into hockey, or hockey first and then football?
Yeah, football first, and then back in the when Bob Goodnow was running the NHL Players Association, he brought in a rule after Alan Eagleson was let go that agents in hockey couldn't represent players and coaches. So in the past, NHL agents also represented a lot of the coaches in the NHL. So because I didn't represent NHL players, I was able to represent NHL coaches. So a good friend of mine who was a hockey agent referred me to John Muckler. John Muckler was my first person I represented in management in the National Hockey League. And he had just won Executive of the Year, got fired in Buffalo, and I ended up signing him with the New York Rangers as their next head coach. And then he went on to Ottawa, GM in Ottawa after that, and sadly passed away of COVID earlier this year. But
yeah, it's a shame.
John was Wayne Gretzky's coach for his last game, and of course he coached him in Edmonton all those years, and then had him with the Rangers when Wayne ended his career at the Rangers.
Well, that's a name synonymous with success, winning.
Yeah,
and for those who understand the game of hockey and know it, who follow it like we do, he, definitely had such a high level of,
right.
He's what the best way to put it is he's NHL royalty.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. There's certain people that fit certain categories, and he definitely fits that category.
Yeah, I won't tell you the back end of his email, but his email always started off Stanley 5, the number 5. 5 Stanley Cups.
Yeah. No, that's it's funny. I know someone whose email is the Cup 94.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Rangers and
right.
And so I love when guys use little nicknames or adamant. What's the word I want to use? Things that apply to something that either has to do with winning or success.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's and you mentioned Bob Goodnow. I got to meet Bob, and actually I got to do, he helped me with my business. Obviously, like, you started off in insurance.
Yeah.
I started off bird dogging in football and hockey. It was
okay.
I was living in Pittsburgh at the time. This is 1992. And through one of the guys on the Jets, he says to me, "Hey, you're moving to Pittsburgh." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, when you get there, you got to meet this guy, Tony." All right, I'll meet Tony. Tony says, "Hey, Big Daddy, come on, I'm taking you out." I go, "All right, where are we going?" He goes, "To a softball game."
Mm-hmm.
I go, "Softball game? I just drove here from New York, and the last thing I want to do is go to a softball game, but okay, let's go." And then right in front of me, I was kind of starstruck. He goes, "I want you to meet my friend Mario." And there he is, all 6'5" of him, Mario Lemieux. And then I met, Steve Rich and Tom Rich. And,
right.
And, I started doing some work with them. And then I said to them, I go, "Hey, I have an opportunity to get you guys into football." And then they were like, "Nah, we'll stick with hockey and baseball." Okay.
Right. Yeah.
We'll introduce you to someone that you could work with, and that was Ralph Sinridge.
Oh, yeah, I know Ralph, yeah. For sure.
So I was working for both guys being in the same city.
Oh, wow.
And it was funny. I had a good run the first 3 years, and I was like, wow, this is pretty easy because, I'm making all this money. And then reality set in. And 2 years in a row, I'm like, man, thank God I got another job because, this ain't cutting it. And then I got into the insurance business, and then that allowed me to, spread my wings and expand my horizons. And
Right.
Well, now you work with everybody, and it's been a rewarding career, and
That's
it's
great.
been fun. And this, but a lot of people don't. Getting into that business has steered me in so many different paths that I never ever would have thought that I can imagine I'd ever be in.
Yeah.
It's not too many people have a national, and you know this story. Not too many people have a national TV personality tell the whole world, "Hey, say a prayer for Big Daddy because he's got coronavirus." And
Yeah.
I was like, well, I didn't win the lotto, but I did appreciate, Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity wishing me well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's, at the same time, it's being fortunate, being at the right place, and being blessed at the same time.
Exactly.
So now you've represented Stanley Cup winners, you've represented Super Bowl winners. I mean, what else is on the docket for Gil Scott Management?
Well, I'm looking for another Stanley Cup this year. I was texting with Barry Trotz on Saturday, and I said, I've been in Tampa with you many times, Barry, whether it was the Capitals or the Islanders, where you come down here and everybody thinks, Tampa's such a strong team and they're going to win. And I can remember many times being here when you've beaten them with either club. And I said, I think you're going to beat them down there. And sure enough, game one comes up and it's Islander hockey, right? All the way. And don't count those guys out from going all the way yet.
Well, look, I think, the Tampa's going to come back, obviously tomorrow with their big boy stick and try to, bat their way to victory in game two. So I think the Islanders, they're poised to make a run. And I think that last year really gave them a lesson or an education on, what it is or what it takes to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they were right there. So now they should be able to take the next step. And let's cheer them on and get to the next, get to the Stanley Cup Finals. It just takes the opportunity to get in, and then what happens after that? Anybody can beat anybody.
That's right. Yeah.
And I have to say, thanks to you, my second show was Barry Trotz, and I'll tell you, that was a well-received, unbelievable. What's the word I want to use? It was just received so well that I was pleasantly shocked because
great human being.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great time on the show, and chatting before we even went on live, and then speaking after. I was so elated and happy that obviously he gave me the time, and obviously thanks to you. And he's like, "Big Daddy, you got to get to a hockey game." He goes, I think I can help you. And I said to him, "Yeah, Coach, I know you can, but I'm all over the place, so I can never commit to something unless I really say, hey, I'm going to go to this game." Or
right.
But, I was grateful and appreciative, and I hope he wins it because I think he'll build on his legacy.
Yeah.
If he wins one here, that would be, you might as well just give him the Hall of Fame ticket, I think, because it's an incredible job to leave one place and go to another one and repeat the same feat.
Right.
That speaks volumes about him, his coaching, his philosophies, and everything that comes with it.
Well, one of the great things about Barry Trotz is he never makes it about himself. And he's selfless, and the reason his teams play for him is because that's the way he is, and that's why he has such great success, because he doesn't make it about him; he makes it about the team.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you see the love that players have for him that are on the other teams that he beats.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
it's like guys are hugging him. I'm surprised they're not kissing him. And you could see that comes from respect.
Yeah.
Guys understand that, hey, this guy's for real. He's here to stay, and he's a proven winner. So it's like, how could you not?
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate to say I have a new friend as a head coach, and I'm cheering for him. And you're supposed to be biased in this business, but or not be biased, but you got to cheer for people. And
Right.
And he's a good person, and I know I've spoken to at least 5 or 6 different people that work there, and they all say they love him.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
It's not, there's no, you always have one coach that everybody hates.
Right. Right.
Even though he may win, but, he's still, I hate that guy. He's a prick, whatever, without naming people. And,
Right.
But, you don't hear that when you talk about Coach Trotz. It's
Right.
He just gets a lot of accolades and great praise and support. So I hope they can win, the second game, and then how I could just imagine how loud that Coliseum will be on Thursday night.
It's gonna be nuts.
It'll be crazy, and they'll probably regret that they brought down the seats from 17,000 to 13,000.
Right. Exactly.
Because there's no way that you would have not had a full house.
Right.
You had the other seats there. You're going to have one anyway, but it's just going to be a smaller crowd.
Well, by winning that first game in Tampa, they've got the home series advantage now. They got 3 games left at the Coliseum potentially. So,
yeah, no, I definitely, you definitely know that, and I think the NHL Network folks, I've been watching the interviews and whatnot, and some of them, they all predict that the Islanders would win Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they were just on such a high, and they're. That was a big win, series win against Boston, and
right.
They seem more focused. So it'll be interesting to see what Tampa brings to Game 2.
Well, they'll bring all they got in the next game. They've got to win that game to stay in the series.
Yeah, no, I know it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So. Any other things that you're working on that you besides the agent stuff? Anything that you want to share? Or
no, I'm just trying to get this crazy COVID stuff over here in Canada. We're still locked down at the border. I say we're locked down. You can travel to the U.S., but when you come back, you got to quarantine for 14 days. And so I went to Florida. See my kicker, Jason Sanders, with the Miami Dolphins. And my wife and I came back, we had to quarantine for 14 days. And quarantine means every morning at 11 o'clock, you got an email from the government you had to answer. Are you having any symptoms or whatever? And twice we had people knock at our door to see if we were there, day 6 and on day 14 of the quarantine. A government official showed up at our door, making sure we were home. Because if you weren't there, you're subject to a fine up to $750,000. So I think people are so done with this thing, right? We need to get the borders opened back up, and you've opened things up a lot better down in the U.S. than we have up here so far. So hopefully soon we'll have that freedom again.
Yeah, it was. I went away one weekend. I had to go away during the week. And, they had the people at the airport chasing after you when you got off the plane.
Right.
And then I remember the next 2 days later, I see my phone, New York State Health Department. And for, I think it was 7 days, at 8:30 every morning, how do you feel? Do you feel sick?
Right.
And, whatever.
Yeah.
I just responded, yeah, I'm fine. I went through it.
Yeah.
Had it, went through it. And then, obviously I got the vaccine shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but, it was very rough, especially me. When you and I, we're both alike. We see each other in places that we don't know we're going to be at.
Right.
And, 1 minute I'm, I don't know, in New York, and then the next minute I'm on the sideline in Miami. There you are. I'm like, hey, what's up, Gil?
Yeah, right.
So it's the non-travel part. It was difficult to watch football on TV year round, and my brother being an assistant coach with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Had they gone to the Super Bowl, I would have went.
Yeah.
being that I had no reason to be there or was allowed to be there, I didn't go. I watched it. I think it was the first time I watched it on TV, and I can't even remember.
Wow. Yeah, you've been to so many of them.
I've been to so many, and
Yeah.
I told somebody to talk about Hawaii. I said, I'll never go to Hawaii unless I'm beamed there, like a Star Trek beam, because I went, I think 20 years in a row, I went to Hawaii.
Wow. For the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, Pro Bowl. And, as much as it was a great trip when you got there, the flight there and back was always really,
Yeah. Especially in New York. Wow.
Yeah, and I know the players, miss going there.
Yeah.
Because it was it was like a reward to, you get to bring your family, and, you have 7-8 days, and some guys went longer. They stayed because they had no reason to go back. Their season was over. But
so how many Super Bowls have you been to? Have you counted them up?
yeah, the first one I went to was Washington, Buffalo, which was in 90.
Yeah.
That was in Minneapolis.
Yep.
That was my first one, and that was the coldest one I had ever been to.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember people that didn't want to walk out of their hotels, and they were walking through the tunnels there from the hotel through the mall and whatnot. I did not go to the one in San Francisco when they opened up the new stadium.
Right, I didn't either. No.
Yeah, I didn't feel like trekking all the way out there. I just wasn't feeling it. And being that I was working at Fox with the Super Bowl correspondent stuff, we didn't send a crew.
Okay.
So I stayed home. I watched it at home, and so I missed that one, and I missed last year.
Yeah.
So and then I missed the one in Minnesota.
I've been to 18 of them, but I haven't been the last couple. But it's
this year it's L.A.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting. L.A. and then Vegas after that.
Right.
So it's like one party to the next party.
Yeah, exactly.
Or one banquet to the next party. That's what that'll be. And after a while, you know how it gets. You're like same thing over and over. And but when you have clients in the game, you got to be there to support it. And
yeah, exactly.
They're looking for you and they want to talk to you. And and it's always for me, it's a great area to network because everybody's there and you're running families and whatnot. So and then I get to walk around with a camera crew and a mic and we interview people, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
And then I boldly go on Sunday morning and try to predict the winner.
Right.
I had a bad run there, Gil, for a while.
Hey, you weren't getting the right winners?
I was not getting the right ones. I did get Kansas City over San Francisco correct.
Okay. Good.
Even though everybody was telling me, you're out of your mind. And I'm like, I brought a helmet on the set just to prove that I believed in the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then Tom Brady smacked me in the face last year.
You had Kansas City again.
Yeah, and I had Andy Reid on the show as well, and Steve Spagnuolo.
Right. Sure.
So it was, Tom Brady's got me a couple times.
Yeah.
Against the Giants, he hasn't, but
he's got most people except the Giants. That's right.
That's right. He has gotten pretty much everybody. It's the Super Bowls are great, and it'll be hopefully everything gets back to normal where you and I could see each other there if they let you out of Canada.
I remember I went to the one in Tampa. It was the Buffalo Bills' first Super Bowl against New York Giants. Yeah, Marcel's was coaching the Giants, and I can't remember how much the ticket was then, $400 or whatever it was. And I thought I got my money's worth before the game even started. That was the game that my wife didn't want me to go. Saddam Hussein said he was going to bomb the Super Bowl. There was a huge storm. Norman Schwarzkopf was leading the American troops there. They had Sikorsky helicopters with guys with machine guns going around the field before the game. And Lee Greenwood saying, proud to be an American in the pregame show. And then Dionne Warwick sang the national anthem. It was unbelievable. And they had the 25th all-time Super Bowl team, Mike Singletary and different guys there. Yeah. And I said to myself, when you go to a Super Bowl, you get your money's worth before the game even starts, with all that pre-game stuff they had. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, Super Bowls I remember when the tickets were $200 a ticket.
Yeah.
And then now, to get in, it's $1,000 a ticket.
Well, yeah, or more. Yeah.
Minimum. And I've looked at some of my old ticket stubs, I have, and it's kind of funny. You just say, wow.
Yeah.
What a difference it was 20 years ago compared to now.
That's right.
Everything is, even the entertainment is specialized, the tailgate party beforehand. I mean, that ticket sometimes is harder to get than the game ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get, I want to go to the tailgate, Big Dad. You and about 100 other people I know want to go to the tailgate, but
right.
There's nothing I can do. I don't run the ticket department at the NFL for the tailgate.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a part of the show where I get to let you have a little fun. Now I'm going to hand you the mic, and you get to ask me a question.
Well, due to having two clients on the Islanders, and Lane Lambert and Barry Trotz, I'm going to have to call on your knowledge, Big Daddy, and ask you a question.
Sure.
When I get to Long Island to come to some of those games, what is the finest Italian restaurant you would recommend to me? I love Italian food.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of them. I mean,
I'm going to get you in trouble if you say one, right?
No, you know what? Listen, I try to be fair and honest, and I say, if I have to say, for pizza, you already know what I'm going to say. And you've been there, we've been there together, and, Umberto's, obviously. Yeah. But, man, for Italian, I'll tell you, Stella's in Floral Park is a great Italian restaurant.
Okay.
That one's good. There's also, believe it or not, very close friends of mine. They own a bakery and a restaurant, and they're next to each other.
Oh, wow.
And I will tell you that I will take you there, Gil, and I know that you'll appreciate it because I know what kind of person you are. It is not bells and whistles, but the food can match up with anybody.
Well, that's the most important thing. Forget the bells and whistles.
And that place is called La Bodega in Carl Place.
Okay.
And, next door, they make bread for half of Long Island's catering halls and wedding parlors, and the best bread that you'll ever get.
Wow. Sounds good. Do it.
So save that one because I promised to bring you there.
Okay.
I've brought quite a few different people there, and one of them happens to be your favorite, who we won't say on air, but he's been coming there with me now for a couple months now for breakfast.
Good.
And as I've had them make cakes for Michael Strahan for his birthday twice.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth, my running mate there at Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on. And that's why I can proudly say, without hesitation, that I would go there first before anything else, because you kill two birds with one stone, and you can't get any fresher than what you would get there.
Beautiful. Sounds like a plan.
We'll even have to bring the coach over there one day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trust me. Once you walk out of there with, they force you to walk out of there with food.
Yeah.
I mean, the bread is too good to say no.
Yeah.
And I've delivered bread all the way up to, I think I took it one time to Rhode Island.
Wow.
How far I've taken it up. And, if you love semolina bread and fresh Italian bread and the best cannolis in the world made there. So I'll get you juiced up for when you come down here.
Sounds good. All right.
So there you have it. You got Stella and you got La Bodega, and another place that's has incredible food is Mateo's. Mm-hmm. Another great spot that's owned and run by the Sabaro family. Jerry Sabaro, obviously of Sabaro Pizza fame.
Mm-hmm.
They own 4 of those, 2 in New York and 2 in Florida.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with a meal there either. It's incredible. So
Wow.
let's hope the Islanders get to that next round, and
Yeah.
we obviously want them to do it in 4, but if we have to go 7, at least we got a couple of nights covered with food.
That sounds good. Sounds great.
So, but anyway, so Gil, why don't you tell everybody how to find you? Give us your website, give us your social media, so that all the fans and viewers can watch, listen, look for you, keep up to date with you.
Okay. Website is just my name, Gil Scott, 1 L in Gil, GILSCOTT sports.com. And my Twitter handle is I am Big Fresh.
And then you got Instagram too, right?
That is, yeah, that's also I am Big Fresh.
All right, so
you're
everyone
big,
now knows.
You're Big Daddy. You're Big Daddy, and one of my players named me Big Fresh. So we got Big Daddy and Big Fresh here together.
That's right, Big Daddy and Big Fresh. That's a winning combination. How's that?
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
So I want to say, Gil, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, and that's all we try to do here. We just try to be a little bit different, because we're not here to be one of the big TV shows or anything like that. We just want to give the real story, the real human story, and where people started, where they're heading, and how they got started, and it's a similar. We both have a similar story.
Yeah.
If we started in 2 different arenas, actually, or no, we started in the same arena. Both, you got insurance. I had the bird dogging.
Right.
We ended up flipping.
Yeah.
So for good reason, they say things happen for a reason, and that's how I feel. So it's all good.
Well, mine. Thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with your audience and have this opportunity to chat with you.
Yep, absolutely. So to everyone out there, keep an eye out for Gil Scott. Keep an eye out for Coach Barry Trotz and those Islanders. And until next time, I'll see everybody real soon. And don't forget, Big Daddy and Friends, where we tell the story behind the stories. All right? Until next time, see everybody real soon.